When you did simplifying of fractions in grade 6, they usually gave you a fraction and they gave you an equal sign and then another fraction, but they left out either the denominator or in this case they left out the numerator. This was a way of actually showing you or to guide you in what you have to use to simplify this fraction. Now in this case we are going to divide with a 2, and what I do at the top I do at the bottom. That's one of the rules they gave you. And then this answer was 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 6 divided by 2 was 3. Or they left out the numerator, and then you had to know, you look at the denominator divided by 2 to get to 3. What I do at the bottom I do at the top. Okay, that was easy, and sometimes I didn't even have to tell you it's simplifying of fractions. But now this year you are going to get it like this. They are going to give you 4 tens. That's maybe a sum, and this was your answer. You had to simplify the answer, and with fractions, very important, they will always tell you to simplify your answer. The problem here is they don't give you a direction or an indication of what you have to use to simplify the fraction with. So one of the ways that makes it easy, if you think back of your divisibility rules of last year, if you give a number and you have to find a number that can divide with a number without a remainder. Now 3 of the numbers that is the most frequently used is going to be the 2, the 3 and the 5, and if you look at those 3 you'll also see those 3 are the first prime numbers. Now to look at the 2 or to look at the fraction, you are going to ask yourself, are these 2 even numbers? If it's even numbers, you can start with a 2. Then you jump to the 5. So if it's not divisible by 2 and it has a remainder, then look at the 5 first. So if it's divisible by 5, you can use the 5. And then if those 2 don't work, the one usually that's left over is the 3. Those 3 are not the only ones you can use, but to start off with, this is going to be the easiest ones, and also these are your, I think your easier timetables to use. Okay, so just to show you how to test these ones, if you look at the 4 and the 10, you have to look at the numerator and the denominator at the same time. You'll see that the 4 and the 10 are both even numbers. So I'm going to start with a 2, and then I'm going to divide both numbers. Divide by 2, divide by 2. And then I'm going to just write the simplified answer. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2, and that is 5. Just to make sure that you're on the right track, check these numbers again, or your answer. 2 and 5, both of them, they're not the same, so it's not both even numbers and it's not both odd numbers, and none of them or not one of them are divisible by 3. So that's supposed to tell you that this is your simplified answer. Okay, let's look at another option. For example, these ones, the 3 over 15, it's also odd numbers, but now I have to look at which one of the 3 numbers I'm going to use, the 2, the 3 or the 5. Okay, because they're odd numbers, I'm not going to be able to use the 2. If I go to the 5, then I'm going to see that the 3 is not divisible by 5. So then I have to look at the 3. And if you look at the numerator denominator, 15 is a multiple of 3. So if I'm going to use the 3, I'm going to do the division by 3, the numerator and the denominator. So 3 divided by 3, and that's going to be 1. 15 divided by 3, and that's going to be 5. So and if you look at the 1, you can keep on dividing with 1, but then you can do it forever because your answer is going to be exactly the same. So anything divided by 1 stays exactly the same value. Okay, looking at 4 over 20, Now both of them are divisible by 2, and 20 is a multiple of 4 again. But now to play it safe, I'm going to test my answer again, or test my numbers by using the 2, the 3 and the 5. This is a bit longer way. Some of you might have seen the shorter way, but I'll get to that now. Okay, let's have a look. Both of them are even numbers, so I'm going to use the 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Now answer here will be 2 over 10. Okay, but if I look at the numerator, the denominator, both of them are even numbers again. So if I look at the 2, both of them can divide with 2 again. If I look at the 5, 2 can't divide with 5 because it's going to have a remainder. So I'm going to go back to the 2, and I keep on dividing with the 2 in this case. So I'm going to have 2 divided by 2, and that's 1. 10 divided by 2, and that's going to be 5. Okay, and again my numerator is going to be 1, so basically I know my simplifying of is finished there. Okay, now I was talking about a quicker way to do this. If you find with your timetables, and you can see immediately that 4 can divide by itself, but 20 can also divide by 4. Remember I said that you can start by using 2, 3 and 5, but that's not the only ones that you can use or are allowed to use. So in this case we used the 2 twice, but if you saw that 4 divided by 4, the numerator and the denominator, you are also allowed to use this way. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 20 divided by 4, and that's 5. And if you look at the answers, the fifth there and the fifth, you'll see that you got to the same answer, although the steps that you followed were not the same number of steps. Okay, in a test you won't get marks for having more steps to get to your simplified answer. Okay, but in this case you're more than welcome to use the shorter way, just to divide by 4. But to play it safe, go back to your 2, your 3 and your 5. Okay, now in some cases, because you're going to do sums this year, it might happen that you end up one of the answers with an improper fraction. And now I can start combining my methods, the one that I did earlier, by subtracting and then simplifying again. So you keep on simplifying until you know your answer is in the simplest form. So here, the improper fraction, I'm going to start using the subtraction way. I'm going to say the 14 at the top minus the 4, so I'm going to subtract, that's a 10. Can I subtract the 4 again? Yes. So then I end up with a 6. Can I subtract the 4 again from the 6? Yes. And I've got my remainder. Now let's have a look. Minus 4 is 1, 2, 3 times, so that's going to be my units. And now you'll see my remainder is going to be my numerator, and my denominator is going to be a 4. Now you have to check again, is my 3 and 2/4 in its simplified form? Now the 3 can't change, so that the unit stays like this. But if you look at the fraction 2/4, both of them are even numbers, and both of them can divide by 2. So I have to take it further, have to simplify it further by dividing by 2, dividing by 2. So my unit stays like this. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2, and that's going to be 2. Because my 1 is the numerator, then I know my fraction is basically simplified.